Mad story. There's 3 parts to this story, so make sure you stay tuned to the end. This is why I love doing the job that I do, because I get to hear crazy stories from the tenants. So to start off with, I heard, and I verified it, there was a study that was done, and apparently 1 in 10 people are incorrect about who their father is. So 1 in 10 people allegedly think that John is their dad. No, John is not your dad. It's Paul across the fucking street. Now, 1 in 10, that's crazy. Yeah? That's 10% of the population. How true that is, I don't know. But I saw another study that was done, and it was 1 in 25 people are incorrect about who their dad is. That seems more realistic. But nevertheless, it happens. We've seen that program Maury plenty of times. You are not the father, yeah? So boom. So say about 2-3 weeks ago, I phoned up this tenant. I said, yeah, I'm coming to your flat soon. You in? He said, yeah, come. I'm waiting. Boom. Got there. He's bust opened the door. Cool, I've gone in. So I looked at him and I said, are you mixed race, yeah? Like, who's black? Your mum or your dad? He said, I'm not mixed race. Both my parents are English. I said, really? He said, yeah. Yo, if you see this guy, he has tan skin. He was an older guy, so he had a bald patch in the middle of the head. I'm getting that soon. And you know the Mr. Burns, yeah, the hair on the side, he had that going on. I said to him, what, serious? You're not mixed or nothing? He said, no, both my parents are white English. I'm thinking, nah. Yo, if you see the hair that's on the side of his head, with the hair that's left, it was thick. I'm not saying that no white people have thick hair, but I'm thinking, yo, this guy's mixed. Funny enough. So that must have happened, let's say a Monday. 3 days later, I was in a different part of Northampton. I knocked on this random woman's house to go and do a test. This guy was walking past. Now, he was like how this guy even walked from where his flat is to this place is beyond me. But he weren't really right in his head. It was a bit weird, innit? Yeah. Anyway, I knocked on this woman's door and I said, miss, come. I was like, you see that guy over there? Because I waved to him like, well, go on, you good? Yeah, he remembered me from like a few days ago. Because it was across the road and that. I said to this woman, miss, look at this guy. She was like, yeah. I was like, where do you think he's from? Like, what country? She said, Turkish or something like that. I was like, go in the house, innit? So anyway, I went in there. I said, you know that guy? He thinks that he's white, yeah? I'm saying like, yo, he looks mixed race. She was like, yeah, he looks like he's not English and that. Anyway, it reminds me of a time when I was at the new bar. So it's not there no more. But basically, any of you lot that's from around like Loughton, Buckhurst Hill, even certain parts of East London, you lot will know about the new bar. Apparently it featured on that program called Towie, The Only Way is Essex. Apparently they shot a few episodes where they were in that club. It got shut down. I think someone got chopped with a machete, yeah? So some badness happened outside there a couple of times. But us, man, we used to go down there and it was cool. Like, we were the only black brothers in the club that were from the ends. There wasn't like 1-2 black brothers, but they were like white man because they're from Essex, and there was a random mixed race guy that you see there. He was like a white man because he's from Essex and that. We was the only man them that was in there. There was one time actually I did go there and there was a few man that was there, like man them, you could tell. And then I heard that's when it started getting bad and that. So anyway, boom, man's in the new bar now. And there was this chick, yeah? So man's approached her like, yo, you saying, what's your name? Can't remember. Anyway, nice thing, yeah? I said to her, oh, you're mixed race, yeah? This was a long time ago, like I'm talking like 8 years ago. I said, oh, you're mixed race, yeah? Who's black, your mum or your dad? Because I have a theory, the reason why I ask mixed race people this, I have a theory that 90% of mixed race people have a black dad, and 90% of those mixed race people, their dad is Jamaican, yeah? So that's why I asked them. So she said, nah, both my parents are English, they're white. I'm like, really? She was like, yeah. Yo, if you see this girl, yeah, she's got tan skin, green eyes, and full lips, yeah, thick lips. This is before the lip filler days. This is before all that nonsense, yeah? I'm not saying that chicks weren't getting it back then. But yo, chicks didn't have lip fillers like how they do now. I was like, really? She was like, yeah. Okay, whatever, cool, boom. Got the girl's number. The next day, I'm in the kitchen with my mum. This time I was living in Edmonton. There was no Northampton property. This is how long ago it was. Longer than 8 years ago. What am I talking about? So anyway, boom. I show my mum the picture of this girl. I said, Mum, look at this girl. She was like, yeah. I was like, where do you think she's from? Like country-wise. She said, I don't know, mixed race, something like that. I was like, Mum, this girl was adamant she was white. My mum was like, no way. Right, I said this is going to be 3 parts. Yeah, this is technically 4 parts. So I spoke about the guy that claimed to be fully English white and the woman thought he was Turkish. I've just told you about that mixed race thing. Well, yeah, she's mixed race. She believes that she's fully white. No. I'm going to add in a 3rd one before I get to the last one, yeah? I ain't going to talk too much, but basically, there's a youth that I know. He thinks he's Nigerian, fully Nigerian. All his siblings are all the same skin tone, like me, yeah? Maybe a little bit darker and that. He seems to be the only one that's very, very light skinned. Some people will say, oh, it's a throwback and that. Do you know what happened? And funny enough, yeah, it weren't just me and a couple of people that I know from my local bit that thought this shit was mixed race. I got a cousin that's not from my area who went to the same college as this youth. And he said to this youth, yo, you're mixed race, man. Look at your skin, look at your hair. You're mixed race. Like, nah, man, I'm fully Nigerian and that. My cousin said, blood, you're mixed raced. You're not fully Nigerian and that. Do you know what's funny? So let's say this youth has 3 older siblings, yeah, who are like my skin tone, yeah? They all allegedly have the same dad, yeah? The dad of the 3 older siblings, before this light-skinned youth, this mixed race youth was born, the dad was away on business. I don't know, he was in Nigeria or America. One of the parents in the community who used to live opposite this Nigerian household said that when the dad was away on business in America or Nigeria, this mum used to see through the spy hole a white man going there in the middle of the night. That's his fucking dad, blood. His dad is not this Nigerian guy who's fathered his other siblings, his older siblings. His dad is some random white man. Anyway, now for the finale. So I was at a tenant's house, I think it was on Monday or something like that, earlier this week. And she was a nurse, yeah? And she'd be working in like the gynecology, maternity sort of ward for like 30 years. Big woman, well into her 60s. So I said to her like, any crazy stories and that? Like any mad stories and that? And she was like, one thing that does stick out in her mind, she will never forget. She was on the maternity ward. This couple came in, they're white English, very normal looking and that. The woman is on the bed, in labour, gonna start to push real soon. She turned and she said to this tenant whose house I was at, obviously 30 years ago, she said to her, is there any chance we can do a test to determine the ethnicity of a baby before a woman gives birth? And the nurse said, no. She said in her head, she thought, well, it's a bit late for that. Like, you've left it to the last minute to ask a question like that. Anyway, the woman that was in labour gave birth and pushed this baby out. The tenant whose house I was at said all of them looked at each other. The doctor and the other nurses, midwife and that, just looked at each other in disbelief. That was a black baby. Well, mixed race. The woman pushed out a mixed race baby. The partner, the white man, he walked over to her and slapped her in the face and walked out of the fucking hospital room. Mad. You know, this woman, yeah, would lie and try to say, oh, it's a throwback. Yeah, you know, one of my grandparents, I'm sure they were Anglo-Indian or whatever, because, yeah, my great-grandfather he was serving over in India or whatever, and he was some bullshit lie she'll come up with. So many women cheat. And there are a lot of people walking around thinking that Paul is their dad when fucking John across the street is their dad. So this is why I like going to the tenants' houses and that, because you just hear some crazy fucking stories, boy. And you see some crazy things. I do need to continue that series, Creepiest Tenants That I've Ever Met, because I've got a few more stories to tell. So stay tuned. Stay wise. Ton, man.